everybody. So we are so excited to be here. We are the Hallmarkies podcast, but today we are looking up at the Up channel, and we are looking at, we have our special off-network correspondent, Amy Lynn Craig is here, and we found out about these Up movies, so we figured we'd better talk about them. I'm Rachel, and Amber's here. Maybe.
No, I'm here. I'm just not going to say anything.
You're upset, huh?
I am. You know, part of me honestly is like, forget you, Up Network. You canceled Date My Dad, which was like quality. I mean, you know what? To be fair, they probably just can't afford to make it, but still, how dare they?
Yeah,
I'm here on protest.
So the Up Network, what is the Up Network, Amber? What kind of, yeah.
Up, according to their press, is television's trusted destination for uplifting shows families can watch together. Also, It's like, if you have really good cable, you get this and Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, we want to be Hallmark Channel. But they're awesome. They have some original shows like Bringing Up the Bates and this new show called Our Wedding Story, where it's just like people filming themselves getting married. So I guess if you're into that kind of reality TV romance stuff and nobody's competing, then this is for you.
Now they're starting having like weird disaster shows, which is strange thing to put in there, but there you go. That's all.
Well, they don't really have like a bunch of weird disaster shows. They just
it's like a summer
are
thing.
Obsessed with this new disaster show they've decided to make.
Yeah. They had a bunch of original movies at Christmas. Most of them, to be completely honest, were super rough for me. They were really badly made and really not great. But we found out about these 4 movies, and we thought, what the heck? They are calling it June Swoon, I guess.
Branded it June Swoon, which I'm not gonna lie is actually a little bit better than June Brides or
it's
June
got a little
Weddings.
more personality.
Yeah, it's like
more catchy.
It is more catchy. So like they're beating Hallmark there. And I will say that some of their Christmas movies I really liked, aka one of their Christmas movies I really liked, which was the 12 Days of Giving. Rachel hated it because she was like, why is everything like on the most exposed filter in all time? Nobody knows.
I thought you liked 2 of theirs for Christmas. That one about the Rose Parade.
I did also like Christmas Princess well enough. But like,
it's like half a good movie in my opinion.
I'm not gonna ever like watch it again, but I thought it was fine, and like it made me cry a ton.
Yeah,
and you know how I don't like that. Get those tears out of your, you fools. Okay, anyway, so that's Up, and we made our off-network correspondent Amy watch all these movies.
Hello. I called to DirecTV to see if I could add Up Network or like get a different like program, whatever. And all the programs DirecTV has that have Up, get rid of Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes no sense to me. Yeah. But okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a good call to pick Hallmark Movies and Mysteries over the Up Network. We understand, but you were able to find these in the end.
Yeah, on YouTube, a lot of these movies from Up you can watch on YouTube for $1.99. So
yeah,
that is honestly one thing I will say where Up Network seems to be superior to Hallmark. I feel like every one of their original movies or the shows that they're promoting as like, they're all available on Amazon or YouTube, Google Play, iTunes. Like, you can get these movies and own them or rent them if you want to. And Hallmark is like, we'll maybe release one thing, thanks. Like, so that is definitely a way in which they are superior to Hallmark. Because to be fair, they probably put as many movies available in those mediums because Hallmark just makes more of them. But I don't understand in this day and age why they're not trying to take people's money and have them buy their movies. I don't understand. It doesn't even make sense.
I agree with you. Like the whole thing, like we don't need Hallmark to have a Disney vault. Like Let us have the movies.
Like, and I could maybe understand why they don't release them all on DVD, because you have to like press the DVD and there's cost to that. But I don't feel like there's going to be much overhead in allowing people to digitally download things.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And also, they have Hallmark movies now. Why can't they just put their whole catalog on there? I don't understand why they pick and choose.
Agreed. And one of these movies, the Betty on the Bride, is actually on Hallmark movies now. So there you go.
Why did I rent it then?
I just found out today. Sorry. Anyway, so okay. So we're going to talk about these movies. And overall, these 4 movies, Amy, what did you think? Do you think it was pretty rough, or what did you think?
They were okay. I mean, would not watch any of them again. But good one-time watch, I think. That's it.
That's fair. That's certainly fair. Amber?
I honestly think that there are 2 of these movies which I would watch again.
Mm-hmm. I would be interested to see if it's the same ones. Actually, I thought that one of them was painful to survive.
Okay, yeah, one of them made me want to, like, I could not handle it. One of them, I thought I was going to not, and I was, maybe because my expectations were, like, below floor level. Like, I was, like, the bunker where you survive and, like, world-ending event. I was down there with my expectations. And then I was like, it's not that bad. It's fine. And then 2 of them I actually liked, and I am very surprised about one of them. I'm not going to say a word.
Yeah, okay, so...
I mean, I will, but not yet. Otherwise, you won't listen to the rest of the podcast.
I think I might actually be on your same page. I thought that 2 were solid. One was fine, and then one was I wanted to die. Okay, so let's see. It's the same. So the first one we're going to talk about is Bridal Boot Camp. And our little summary of this: pretty dressmaker Andy joins a motley crew of brides-to-be for a grueling bridal boot camp where young ladies learn how to become better brides. She thinks she's found the perfect place to become the perfect bride. But when Andy meets Casey, a handsome delivery man who doesn't believe in marriage, she starts to question her picture-perfect image of her current engagement and what marriage truly means. So this movie starred Spencer Locke in the lead, and the handsome delivery man was played by Jake Sandvig, was his name. I'll share my thoughts first. So this is very similar to The Perfect Bride in concept, I think. But I mean,
I don't know if it was actually similar to The Perfect Bride in concept. Because it was like one of the brides was the lead as opposed to, but like, if I had to choose which bridal boot camp I was going to, this one or the one from the Hallmark movie, you best believe I'm going to the Hallmark movie one.
Right. Yeah. Why would you say that?
First of all, the lady was just like bananas crazy. Like, who was she trying to be? The Trunchbull? And like, all of the things they were making him do were ridiculous. Like, oh, we're gonna, like, I feel like every time they left, they just left with giant bouquets of flowers, which I don't even know, like, what was the point of every person having bouquets of flowers? Plus, she was just, like, really mean and not encouraging. Like, the first day, she's like, yeah, you're fat. Your husband won't love you if you're fat. And I was like, whoa, what lady? We are getting up on the wrong foot.
Yeah. They were trying to do this whole like boot camp part of it, but like, and that to them means like be really mean. But like this lady put Steve Bassett to shame. Like this is a really like. I mean, golly.
And I was like listening to the rules and I was like, I am uncomfortable. This is a terrible, terrible boot camp.
Yeah, agreed.
And
yeah, because the perfect bride, like, she's like super positive and like
and
think
she, like,
affirmation thoughts and trust, and we're gonna have a trust walk and
like
whatever stuff like that,
and like building a relationship, and we're doing this movement so that you'll have like sensory memory of these things, and like so you can absorb like brilliant. This lady's like the craziest. She was just crazy. And then I guess I'm just going,
no, you're fine.
And I did not like the main girl. I felt like she was such a brat. Like, am I crazy? Someone support me or fight me.
Amy, what did you think of this?
I could not take her seriously because I feel like she looked way too young. I was just like, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
She was just like kind of not a bride. She did not seem like the bride at all. And she was kind of a little insufferable.
Yeah, she kind of was. I agree. She was definitely an insufferable bride. And
not in a fun way. Not in like a, oh my gosh, I need to have all, like, her being like, I am already the perfect bride was the most frustrating thing I've ever heard. And then she goes to this ladies' class, like, even if you think it's bogus and you're just going to support your friend, like, how about you try not to be such a rude person? She's like, yeah, this class is terrible, and I'm going to come to this class and prove to you why your class is terrible. I hated it.
I wondered why this girl looked so familiar. She was on Phil of the Future and Big Time Rush. Because I was like, she looks so familiar.
Who is she in Phil of the Future?
Candia Kegel. I don't think I said that right. But yeah. She was on like 6 episodes of Back to the Future. She was also on Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
So what did you think of the romance element of this? You've got her, like, I had problem with it because so she's dating this guy or she's engaged to this guy who is a resident doctor, whatever. And that's like, and she's like mad at him or feels like they don't have enough connection because he's spending too much time at work. Like, that's what it takes. Like, you have to, that's what it takes
what
to be
she
a
signed
doctor.
up for.
Like, that's not him being a terrible person. That's like him becoming a doctor. Like,
yeah, and like, spoiler alert, this is what residency is.
Yeah.
And it lasts like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, then he just gets to be a doctor.
I mean, my aunt Chris, like, oh, she had to live in student housing. She had her first 4 kids there, and she had to, I mean, she hardly saw, like, she went through everything because my uncle became a radiation oncologist, so he was like a specialist, so even more, like, but then, like, things balanced down, and it was okay, and great, and they're very happy, like, that's just part of being a young married couple for almost any career. Like, almost any career, like, whether it's both of you having to, like, really focus a lot on work, if you want to be ambitious, if you want to be successful. And that's the thing, like, a lot of people say they want to marry really ambitious people. But I'm like, do you really? Do you know what it takes to be super ambitious? Like, I don't know. I didn't see anything that he was doing that was, like, rude or bad.
Well, no, and she was the rude one. Like, he doesn't show up for the events. And she's like, yeah, I didn't even invite him. Like, she's the rude one. Oh. He doesn't even have a chance to succeed or fail.
Yeah.
If he doesn't know about it, like, he's not an awful person.
Right.
Like, for not being there. And I feel like when she met him and found out he wants to be a doctor, did she not, like, look up what it entails? Did she not know what she was signing up for? Like, as being in a relationship with him? Like, it just, I don't know. It seemed like she was being really inconsiderate when she should have known what his load was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, like, you can say, like, oh, I was, like, swept up in the, like, puppy love romance of the thing, and then, like, I fell out of it, and, like, I was just growing apart, and she was setting out to fail. but I don't want to watch a movie where that person's supposed to be like the hero. No, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it definitely went some places that a Hallmark movie wouldn't go, which was kind of funny. Like her and this delivery guy, which he was kind of charming, I thought, enough.
Yeah, he was easily the best part of the show. I mean, actually, in the 3 minutes we actually got to see her fiance, he killed it. I felt so bad for him when she gave him back the ring. Yeah. But other than him, the delivery guy did a great job.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel any connection between the two of them, so I didn't buy any of it.
But they have this weird thing that they both like. They both love gardens, which isn't weird, but like this weird like thing where they like sleep on the grass for the night. Like, I don't know. It was kind of odd. Like, I can't imagine. Like, he's like, you looked so comfortable. I didn't want to wake you from sleeping on the grass. And I'm like, what kind of grass is this? It's like some kind of extra.
Okay, and let's be real. If I wake up and I fell asleep on the grass somewhere and someone just left me freaking outside, I would be furious. Like,
also, like,
I don't want to say that mosquitoes love me more than anyone else on planet Earth, but they do. If I slept outside, just straight up in the grass, not to mention the fact that if you sleep on the ground, it's freezing.
Right.
Let's ignore that for a minute.
Yeah.
I would be covered in mosquito bites.
Right.
Legitimately covered. Like, I can step outside and be outside for like 3 minutes and have 7 mosquito bites. Like, I don't even live in mosquito country, but they're like, is she coming out? You guys, I heard she was going to come outside today. So if someone left me to sleep outside all night on grass, I would be like, I'm never even speaking to you again. I don't even care, like, if it was my mom. I'd be like, how dare you?
Well, it's
my family over.
Romantic. Like, if you ever like sat on the grass and you kind of have the weird like impression of the grass like on your legs or something like that, you'd have that like on your face, and you'd be all like you'd have all like the dew from the morning like all over you. It would be, it would not be romantic at all, and like your back would be all sore. It would be it was a stretch. Like, this is not.
I understand how she slept all night on the ground and didn't like nothing.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, what do you think of her friend? Her friend Ariel.
Her friend was also a brat. Remember how they had that big fight where her friend was like, well, I think the dress you made me is trash. Yeah. And she was like, okay, well, here, you can find a new dress and a new bridesmaid after I worked super hard on that dress for you. And I was kind of supporting her in this fight. Like, that was the only time I was like, way to go. And then they get back to not being in a fight. And she's like, I'm sorry that I blew up at you and was rude to the lady and I'm the meanest. And her friend is like, I'm sorry. But like, she didn't even say I'm sorry. What did she say? She said something like,
all they did was like, she showed up at the house and she's ordering Thai food, and she's like, pad Thai, and the friend's like, make that 2 pad Thais.
Well, no, right after that they talk, and Andy says she's sorry about blowing up or whatever, and I know, and her friend was like, I'm sorry I like spoke loudly to you, but like, not like, I'm sorry I would drag you to this thing you didn't want to do, and I'm sorry that I called you out for being such a jerk and that I was rude about your career. Like, none of that. She didn't apologize at all. I was really mad about it. You know how I feel about tracking apologies, right? Like, she must have gone to the When Calls the Heart school of apologizing.
What was the girl that you didn't like on When Calls the Heart?
I can't remember, but you know that blonde girl who always is like, oh, hey, Philip, how do you like having them 4 eyes, you nerd? And then Elizabeth would be like, what do you say? And she's like, sorry, Miss Thatcher. And she never apologizes to Philip.
Right.
That's what her friend did.
Right. So, Amy, how many clouds would you give this out of 5? Bridal Boot Camp.
3.
Ooh, pretty generous. There you go. All right, Amber.
Nice. 1.
Oh, this one isn't even my bad one.
Half a cloud.
This one isn't even my bad one. Ooh, okay. I would give it 2 clouds.
Yeah, it gets half a cloud from me.
There you go. All right. So the next one, we have Betting on the Bride.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, the little description is, a womanizer bets that he can get someone to accept his marriage proposal after dating him for just 30 days. What he doesn't know is that the woman he has targeted has some serious commitment issues. So this is kind of a Taming of the Shrew type of situation, kind of, where you have this bet.
Also, it's 100% A Bride for Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Agreed. Well, so they have this this girl who, and it was also, it wasn't similar to Yes, I Do, but just in the sense that the uncommitted bride. It made me think because I saw it soon after that. But basically, you have this girl who, at the beginning, she leaves a guy at the altar. And then you've got this other guy who him and his buddies from work are like, hey, you have to give up some of your good clients or something like that if you can't get a girl to accept a marriage proposal in a month. Like, I can't even remember why they decided this was like funny or a good idea. Do you remember, Amber?
They were just bowling. You know how guys do. And they were all
talking. They were talking about their wives and like their family and everything, and like making fun of him for being a bachelor or whatever. And
he was like, "You don't even know." And they're like, "No, we know, and you'll never get married because you're a bachelor." Like, I am sorry. This movie is beat for beat A Bride for Christmas with Ariel Kebbel and Andrew Walker.
Yeah.
Except for it's not Christmas.
Yeah, it's true. It really is true. So yeah, you have Cindy Busby plays her sister in this, and then Kim Delaney plays her mom, who people might recognize from Army Wives. The lead is Carissa Lee Staples, and then this lead guy is Peter Mooney. And I actually thought this was fine. I enjoyed this. I thought that they had pretty cute chemistry, and I liked the supporting were pretty fun, and I felt bad for the guy that she left at the altar. Poor guy.
I felt bad for all 3 of the guys she left.
Yeah. But I don't know. It was just pleasant, little forgettable, movie in my opinion.
Yeah, and I honestly really liked this movie. I felt like Peter Mooney was so cute, and I liked their chemistry. I loved the subplot with the like Girl Scouts. That was so cute. It was he was adorable with that little girl. I just really liked it. And to be fair, I mean, I really like A Bride for Christmas, so I would probably like a decent remake of it. And the thing that I noticed the most about this is that it felt like they actually had some semblance of a budget on this movie. Like, it wasn't like filled with lots of the like bloop 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 background music where you're like, this is supposed to be funny, I guess, but it's not. It didn't have any of that stuff. I felt like the lighting was much better. Like, there weren't really even scenes where people had shadows all over their faces, unlike in the other movies. So I feel like it was probably the best produced of the movies.
Yeah.
And I bought their chemistry. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was cute. I enjoyed it too. I thought they did enough sort of backstory to try to kind of explain why she, had these issues, because everybody who would always ask her was always in these like really public settings where she felt all this pressure, and she didn't want to, she's a kind of person who wants to please other people, doesn't want to embarrass other people. And it's not that she dislikes these guys that she said yes to. She just doesn't love them, which is totally understandable. I can picture that. And and Cindy Busby is always really cheerful and fun to have in things, and she was nice in this, I think. And I've always liked Kim Delaney as she's good in Army Wives. It was fun to see her again. So I don't know, what did you think, Amy, about this one?
Cindy Busby was my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah.
But I think I liked it until the end. I just think it was too, like, everything's okay now in 5 seconds, and yeah, let's get married.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it was too quick, and I feel like there wasn't enough of, like, a resolution for them to, but I think they were really good together. The two of them was, like, a good couple, and yeah, it was cute.
Because, of course, she finds out about the bet as these kind of gimmick romantic comedies, because there's a whole, like, genre of gimmick romantic comedies, whether it's, like, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, or, you know, it's like there's, like, an article that has to be written, or, like, What Happens in Vegas, or there's, like, this court thing, and I don't and so there's like this gimmick that forces these people to be together. They don't want to be together, but then they, you know, or whatever, or a bet, or, you know, like She's All That, or, you know, whatever it might be. And they're tricky to pull off. They're really, really tricky to pull off. And you have to have really likable leads, I think, to do it in order to make it work. Otherwise, it can feel kind of mean-spirited, I think.
And I feel like they did, and it was great.
Yeah.
Also, I did really like that we got to see her exes and kind of see that they ended up having happy lives.
Yeah.
Like, it made me feel less bad.
That was nice. That was nice. So, okay. So how many clouds would you give this one, Amy?
2.
There you go. And Amber?
I'm going to give this one 3.7 clouds.
Very good. All right. I think I'd give it like 3.25 for my clouds. So, all right. Next, we are going to talk about a movie that took me to a dark place. We're going to talk about, it's called Love Exclusively, or It Happened One Valentine's. And the blurb is, when ambitious reporter Ali Rush is recruited by vindictive music manager Vivian Cartwright to play Cupid to famous pop musicians Caleb Green and Carson Pete in return for an exclusive story over Valentine's weekend, Ali soon realizes Caleb has his sights set on her. Now, torn between her big career move and her growing feelings for Caleb, Ali is left to question whether she can coerce Caleb into something his heart does not desire, or if she should fall in love and make him her very own Valentine. So, full disclosure. So, I was watching this movie and I was just like, this is like, it broke me. Like, I thought I was a pretty strong person, and because people make fun of me all the time in film Twitter about, like, how can you watch all these TV movies? Like, and I defend them. And I say they're good, and they're under. I feel like they're sort of they're my underdogs of the cinema world, you know. And I've got like William Bibiani on my side, and I've got Alonso Duralde on my side, you know, these TV movies, and but then like every once in a while one will come out where I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't. And this was one of those. It was so bad. And so finally, about like with half an hour to go, I get on my phone and I start Insta story and doing my own commentary. And I probably had about 30 little story things that I did about like, oh, look. And that was the only way I could get through this thing, because it was so bad. It was so badly made. It was so badly shot. Every character was terrible and horrible, and I hated them. The music was awful. I hated all the singing. I was just like, oh no, they're singing it again. I want to die. And it was just not for me. I hated this movie. It was horrible. So, Amber, what about you?
So I recorded this movie, and my DVR only recorded the last 4 minutes. So I watched the last 4 minutes, and I was like, oh my gosh, my DVR like probably cut off the first 1,000,000 minutes because it hated it so much. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life. And then I watched Bridal Boot Camp, and I was like, this movie is so terrible. I imagine that Love Exclusively is going to have to be the way worse. It might be so terrible that I love it. Right. So I was like, I'm going to see if it's on demand. And it was. So I watched it. And then I was like, you know what? I don't mind this movie. It's okay. Like, sure, James Maslow was terrible. Sure, the song He was, Amy. I don't care about you and your boy band this. He is the worst. And like the song, I hate that song. JK, I love it now. I've experienced like these strange like Stockholm syndrome moments where like by the end of the song I was like, you know what? I actually kind of dig it now. Like they did it. They made me like, now I like the song. And I will have to admit that I loved Maddie. I loved her friend Maddie. Basically from the minute he brought out that thing and he called it a love loaf, I was like, heck yeah, love loaf. And I just called him Love Loaf the whole time because he was great. I loved him. And you know how I feel about liars. I love them. So this was just a liar story. It works for me. I was a big fan. I mean, not a big fan. I was like a tepid fan.
Amy?
This movie was awful.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was, and I was so excited because I'm like, James Maslow, like my big time rush, you know, because like I have a soft spot for all the Penavega movies on Hallmark because of Carlos from Big Time Rush. But like, this was just, the singing was okay because I think James is a good singer, but the story was just,
oh my gosh,
it felt like it went on forever.
It felt so long, and this manager Vivian was the worst character to ever grace the screen. She was absolutely horrible, and I mean, just such a cliche of every like ice queen woman that you've ever seen in a movie. She was just embarrassing. I felt embarrassed for the actress. I thought that it was so predictable. It was so like every character I just thought was just awful. And it was like, there were whole shots where there was like, they wouldn't even like center on the actual like person. You were just seeing the back of extras. And I'm like,
you guys, yeah, this movie was like, remember when they were shooting the music video and like, there was like shadow all over, and like I have better lighting right now.
Yeah,
I can't even. I have better lighting than they did, and like, oh wait, hold on, I can't. I'm just too beautiful. But it was so funny. I was like, the people who made this movie are professional movie makers. So how come they don't know how to light someone's face?
Mm-hmm.
Like unbelievable. And I just thought that like every line of dialogue felt like it was like a telenovela, but like not as good. And like everything was just so melodramatic and so ridiculous. And you're just like the one pop queen is claiming like that Maddie broke her heart, and it's been like a weekend and they've had like one cozy movie together. You're just like, really? And like, I don't know, just everything. I just thought every single line of dialogue was cringy and terrible, and every character was terrible, and every shot was terrible, and I hated the music, and it was just not for me. I thought it was awful. I wrote down one of the reviews on IMDb. It says, "I'm serious. I love chick flicks, but this was the cringiest movie ever. The actors tried, but all in all, it was bad. You should save your time and find something other to watch, even if it is a blank wall." And I agree with this review. And it was not me who wrote this review, I promise.
What I'm going to say is, if you feel like you must watch this movie, watch the last 4 minutes and then start it over. Because you're going to be like, what in the heck is this garbage? Why is everyone dressed in bright red? This is so stupid. And then you'll watch the whole movie and you'll go, I mean, yeah, it's terrible. It's even maybe a little worse than I thought it was going to be. Yet somehow I'm not mad about it. I'm okay with the fact that it's like this.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm like, give me that love song again. I don't even know how it went, but I didn't want to die at the end. I wanted to die early on, but I moved on.
But Vivian, come on, you got to give me Vivian was the worst character.
Well, of course, Vivian had no nuance. Awful. She was just insane. But I sometimes like insane people.
Ugh. No, I mean, like, it's such a cliche, it's such an insult to working women to have them always portrayed as anybody who's like diligent at their job and is trying to do a good job, is like an ice queen and is like out to get love, you know. It's just like, oh, I hate it so much. And like, there's a lot of nice working women out there that are dedicated to their jobs, but also haven't lost all connection with humanity.
Okay, also, did we find out, I wanted to check this out, but I didn't bother Googling it because I didn't want to put more time into it. I feel like the movie was actually just like a really long commercial for that charity that they were talking about.
Yeah.
Is that a real charity?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because like if it was a real charity, then I feel like I was very well informed.
I don't know.
I don't even remember what it was called to look it up. So,
but yeah, so
I
I
just want to say that I watched this movie the day after I was on a film set, and I was an extra in a 3-minute short film. Okay, it took about 14 hours to film, but it was a 3-minute short film I was an extra in, and that production quality for this 3-minute short film is going to be 10 times better than this entire movie.
Amy, I have never been more better friends with you than this moment, because I completely agree with you.
And oh God, I was an extra for 8 hours, whatever, and I was like, this is awful. And that music video like set was like a bad music video from YouTube 2010 where you lip sang is what it looked like to me. So
it was so funny. It was so funny. Remember when he was like, oh my gosh, I will not be shirtless again. And it was so funny. I died. I loved it.
Uh-huh.
Well, so Amy, how many clouds did you get this?
It doesn't even get a cloud. It gets some mist.
Yeah.
Like, not even.
Zero clouds. Yeah. It was almost a DNF. It was just, I thought, atrocious in every way.
Well, hello. Look at me. I'm giving it a full crown. Cloud. No, it does not. No. I'm giving it one full cloud.
Yeah, that's fair. I can live with that. Okay.
I'm not saying it was like a masterpiece and whatever. I just, after watching it after I watched it. We already talked about it.
Because you saw my Insta story, and so you had so that made it more enjoyable to watch it. You saw my Insta story and all my funny commentary.
I didn't watch it with that.
Just kidding. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Love's Last Resort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This was actually the one I heard about first, which, gave me the whole idea of doing this. So we have a few months after dumping her boyfriend, Eric, Chloe takes a vacation only to find him at the same resort getting married. Convinced he's making a huge mistake, Chloe recruits the resort manager, Hunter, to make Eric jealous. But when she starts to fall for Hunter, Chloe will have to put her history with Eric aside if she wants to give new love a chance to blossom. So here we go. So this movie, the lead is Alex Angelis. And then Jesse Hutch plays Eric, the ex, and Thomas Beaudoin. I don't know how you say his name. Anyway,
I like to say Beaudoin.
He plays Hunter.
Beaudoin. I also say Beaudoin. I say his name a lot, but never the same way.
And then April Bowlby from Drop Dead Diva. She plays the new fiance. And then you have Alan Thicke appearing in his, I think, last role. So that's pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I thought this was decent.
And you are forgetting, of course, Ellen Green as the busybody aunt / best friend.
Oh yeah, she's pretty fun. Yeah. I actually enjoyed this pretty well. It has some problems. Some of the stuff just doesn't make sense. Like, like I don't understand how she all of a sudden becomes a doctor working at the resort. Like, did she have a whole nother job? Like, it was very confusing, but okay, whatever.
Well, she was on vacation. She just decided to make it a working vacation.
Yes, yeah, she had like a whole job.
She didn't fill out like any 10 W-2s or anything like that.
Like, how long is this? But like, she's like, I don't know if I'm going to go back. And next I got this job. I don't know. That was a little confusing. But anyway, I thought that pretty much the men made this movie. Like, I thought Jesse Hutch was pretty funny as this like guy obsessed with this show. And like, I don't know. I thought he was funny as he always is. And I thought that, Thomas Bodun was super hunky, and I enjoyed every scene he was in. And I admit the kissing scene in this movie I thought was very swoon worthy and very well done. He says, I don't want to complicate things. And he says, I'm not a complicated guy. And then he kisses her. I'm like, oh, that was good. I like that. That was really good. Because I like swoon worthy scenes like that. And sort of the theme, she says at one point, she's like, it's not love. It's just geeking out over pop culture. And I kind of thought that was sort of fun because I think that, like, I don't know, just thinking even with my friend that I'm like, oh, we have so much in common. We both love Disney. I'm like, I don't know. It just made me think of that. It's like, do we really have that much in common, or we just like the same random pop culture thing? So it's got problems, and a lot of the humor doesn't work, and a lot of her decisions are nonsensical and weird sometimes. But I laughed enough. And I thought there was enough swoon-worthy stuff to be entertained. So, Amber?
Yeah, so I enjoyed this. Like you said, Jesse Hutch was hilarious. He felt very similar to the Snowman, just like a weird person who doesn't know how to live, but he's a human being, so who knows. Like we said, Thomas Bedoin is so handsome. It's ridiculous. He even has like a weird tooth, which somehow like sets off all of his other handsomeness more. It's ridiculous.
Amy, do you agree with us that he's super handsome?
Oh yeah, he's super dreamy.
Yeah. I feel like it's impossible you would not be able to find someone who would be like, no, God, that guy's gross. Like, he is undeniably, like, certifiably, scientifically, quantifiably very handsome. Like, there's no debating this.
Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, oh man,
he's like basically freaking Superman. So everyone knows Superman's the handsomest.
Oh, he was in The Spirit of Christmas with Jen Lilly.
Yeah, he was in The Spirit of Christmas with Jen Lilly, and he was also on One Winter Weekend.
No, Love on the Slopes.
Love on the Slopes.
Which I enjoyed. I thought that was pretty good.
He's so handsome. It kills me. Okay. Anyway, I really enjoyed them. I thought she did a pretty good job. The Alex girl as Chloe. I really love Ellen Green, so I really enjoyed it. It was just some of it, and I think it was just the production value, the like hokey music cues in the background, and
that was horrible. It was way too loud. Sometimes you couldn't hardly hear what people were saying.
Yeah. So that really held me back from loving this movie. Yeah. So that's basically, I had a lot of fun watching it, but also while I was watching it, like, there were things that distracted me from enjoying it, like the loud hokey background music.
Yeah, I agree. That was my main complaint. I mean, it's fun. I always enjoy having a fake boyfriend kind of thing, and some of the sabotage was sort of funny, and but like I said, I liked the sort of obsession about the show was funny. But then other parts were like, okay, she's getting a little mean here, like she's going a little too far.
She took too far.
Yeah, so it's and like I said, the whole thing with her working the job thing was
also
like,
I do want to say, like, the hunter guy that was Thomas Bodun
yeah,
he was like a little bit too perfect and too understanding. Like, it took me out of it a little bit. Like, I wish he had been like, I don't know, something. It was a little too perfect for me. Like, in The Matrix, I don't know if you've seen The Matrix. they were like, we had to put in flaws because you people kept waking yourselves up from utopia.
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, okay, I'm in utopia. This is obviously fake. Wake me up.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, I mean, it's very like romance Harlequin kind of romance novelist kind of thing, his character in here. So yeah, I do agree with you there for sure.
He was way too forgiving, just way too much. Also, like, how did he not look at this girl, like Chloe, and just be like, she's not in love with him. She is infatuated with him.
Yeah.
And like the idea of being with him, like they were together for 10 years and it took her that long to be like, hey, you're a bum. Get off the couch. I'm leaving you. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's true. You know, you're just like it's an interesting idea in a way that like this person that you feel like, how could they change in 6 months? Like that's sort of an interesting conflict, but
yeah.
like, but I don't know. They tried a lot of movies try to do My Best Friend's Wedding kind of a thing, and that's kind of what they're trying to do here. But the thing is that like they were a lot more brave in My Best Friend's Wedding to like, she didn't end up getting a guy and she didn't end up, winning. And so she has to learn. So that's what made that movie really unique and different. And I think a lot of people try to do that, but they're not quite as brave to tell that, they still want to make it happy and romantic and whatever. But it was pleasant. It was a pleasant little movie, and it was kind of fun to see Alan Thicke at the end, just because, he's passed away, and
yeah,
kind of neat to see him one more time.
Yeah.
So it's just odd. It was an odd movie.
It was kind of a weird movie, I'll grant you that.
And the show, like, yikes. The show it was based around.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What was that show?
I actually was like I would definitely be a big fan of that show.
What kind of show? Like, what would you compare that show to? What do you think?
Well, they said it was kind of like, didn't they say it was kind of like, they didn't say the
Love Boat?
Yeah.
Love Boat? Like a Saved by the Bell, Love Boat.
But it was like, they were set at this hotel that they ended up running, and he was like a fancy judge, and she was just a fancy other something career, and they decided to own a resort. Like, the song, if you listen to the words, actually say the plot of the show. So they leave their fancy careers to have like a simple life and fall in love and run this inn, and I'm imagining that each week hijinks happen, and
yeah,
kind of like Faulty Towers, but at a resort with love.
Yeah. Well, so Amy, how many clouds would you give Love's Last Resort?
1.
All right. Amber?
I give Love's Last Resort 3 2/4. No, not 3 2/4. That's a half. 3 1/4 crowns.
Okay, good. I'm gonna give it 3 clouds. Just because I thought that,
I keep saying crowns.
Yeah. I just thought that Jesse Hutch was funny enough and made me laugh enough. And I thought that Thomas was hunky enough that I
thought
enjoyed
they had good chemistry.
So there you go. That is our look at the Up movies. So they're definitely not on the same level as...
That was your Up update.
Yeah. As Hallmark. But I think that the show's some improvement, and we want to be full of encouragement to keep trying, keep putting movies out there, and we will watch them and give our honest feedback. So let us know what you think.
And like I keep saying, I always want to love the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And they did have a really cute one in the spring. I can't think of the name, with Trevor Donovan, where this girl goes out to this, she's this like Paris Hilton type reality star who goes out to this Amish. She kind of stumbles upon this Amish group. And anyway, it was actually pretty cute. And that I think was better than any of these. So there you go. That's the Up Network. Let us know what you think if you got to see any of these. And thanks so much, Amy, for joining us to talk about these silly movies.
No problem. I enjoyed it. It was interesting.
Yeah. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr at It's Amy Craig, and then on YouTube, youtube.com/weekendallstars. And also, I will give you the link once that short film I'm in is out.
Great.
And, I don't know when it's coming out, though, so yeah.
Good. That's awesome. Okay. And Amber, where can people find you?
As always, I'm at Amber Brainwaves on Twitter, and that's it.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and YouTube. So check that out. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And please put in your reviews into iTunes if you can, your ratings and reviews, because that helps people find the podcast and we really appreciate it. So thanks so much. And we will talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.